Okay, we have Dragon Ball Super Broly Gogeta. Right away in his base form here, he's got that base aura, which is going to get our base aura score of 3. And then we have this grab, which I think is pretty sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give this grab a 4. And then moving on to his skills, we have the Wild Sense, and then we have Here We Go, puts him into sparking mode, gives him a couple buffs, can't be mad about it. I'm gonna give skills a 4. As for the blasts, I'm feeling a little let down by these. We have a Super Kamehameha, which is fine, and then we have the Explosive Wave, which is fine. I kind of wish that we just had a little bit more Gogeta in here. We have a Goku move and a stock move, but luckily the ultimate is saved a little bit. This is a really, really good looking Big Bang Kamehameha. Definitely his best looking attack. It's enough to give blasts a 4. And then for his overall aura, I love this look. I love the black hair Gogeta. Of course, the Broly movie really did Gogeta justice. I think I'm gonna round it out and I'm just gonna give aura a 4 as well. Super Saiyan Gogeta. First of all, with the aura, I mean, it looks great. It's that Super Saiyan aura, which we are going to give a 4. As for the grab, we got that exact same grab again, but again, I like it. So this one's going to get a 4 as well. As for the skills, we have the instant transmission this time, and this time we have finish sign. And I think that both of these are just alright. I would definitely rather have something else over finish sign, but it's enough to get it a 3. And then for the blasts, I hate that we have this Super Kamehameha again. I would much rather prefer to see the Big Bang Kamehameha in that blast 1 spot, but it's not. Moving on to the Rising Vortex, I actually really like this rush. I just think it's fun, and there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun every now and again. And then the ultimate Stardust Fall. This is a really solid ult. I mean, it's a scene ripped straight out of the movie. It looks great. That final blast at the end is super cool looking. The Super Kamehameha be damned. I'm gonna give this one a 5. And then as for his overall aura, I mean, this little spin move he does, his little hand wave fade to the side, that's really all that needs to be said about Super Gogeta's aura. It's gonna get an easy 5. Alright, now we're on to Gogeta Blue. And starting off with that God Key aura, I am just a fan of it. I think it looks really good. So I'm gonna give this aura a 5. And once again, we have the same grab, which is gonna get the same score. Throw a 4 up on the board. So onto the skills, we have that instant transmission see a return, but then we have a unique skill called Stardust Barrier. And this one is very neat. It does a little bit of damage if it makes direct contact, but it also reflects attacks, it can stop rushes, and it can send beams back from whence they came. I love having a unique skill. It's a skill with a lot of utility, and it's cheap. So this skill lineup is gonna get a 5. Then we have the blasts, and starting off with that Stardust Blaster, man, that is just so fun. It's that iconic Gogeta move, but it's shorter. That explosion at the end looks great. This is a great attack. And then we have the Meteor Explosion, which again, this is just such a cinematic attack. I mean, we are traveling with the rush. All of this culminates in the very end when he just makes them explode. But it's not over yet. We also have the ultimate, which is the ultimate Kamehameha. And though it is just a big Kamehameha, this charge animation is really cool. We get some dynamic camera angles. The only real issue I have with this Kamehameha is we don't get to see the enemy be swallowed by it. I mean, blasts are gonna get a 5 regardless, just a minor nitpick. And then for Gogeta Blue's overall aura, I mean, he's got a great moveset, he's got a great energy, he's not afraid to style on his enemies. Gogeta Blue is gonna get that 5 on aura. Alright, moving on to Z Gogeta from the Fusion Reborn movie. He's just got the Super Saiyan aura, which looks good, but it's only gonna net them a 4. Moving on to his grab, I really like this grab. It definitely has that Gogeta style, kind of a short section of the Stardust Breaker ultimate, and I kind of like it when grabs pull from other moves. So this grab's gonna get a 5. Then, moving on to skills, we have the Immovable Stance, which is going to get you some super armor. And then, I'm the one who will defeat you, which is going to get you a couple more buffs. This is a fine skill lineup. I tend to lean towards wanting something a little bit more utility other than 2 buffs. I'll definitely keep the Immovable Stance, but I'd like it if the second one did a little bit something else. I think these skills are only going to get a 3. And then, moving on to his blasts, we have that Big Bang Kamehameha. That thing I said I wished was a Blast 1 on the last version of Super Saiyan Gogeta. I also like that when you shoot it really fast, it just says Big Kamehameha. I like like it. I think it's funny. And then we have the Punisher Drive, which is a pretty short and sweet rush, but it looks very cool. I'm a big fan of this like cotton candy colored energy that swirls around him sometimes. And then, of course, we have the iconic Stardust Breaker. This is an excellent looking ultimate attack. I've always loved this attack. I always thought that the rush portion was sweet, and then it just finishes off in this really unique finishing move. This is a really solid blast lineup. It's gonna get a 5. And then for overall aura, this version of Gogeta definitely has the most aura in my opinion. I mean, he's only in the movie for a couple of minutes, but he makes such a statement for that little bit of time that he's on screen, and they've translated that energy perfectly into the game. He's gonna get a 5. Alright, our last form of Gogeta is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and he has that trademark Super Saiyan 4 aura, which has the zappies, it has the sparkles, looks great, gonna get a 5. And then for his grab, I think this grab is pretty cool. I don't think it's as cool as Z Gogeta's, so I'm gonna give it a 4. Moving on to his skills, he has the Wild Sense. He even calls you a name when you hit the Wild Sense. And then we have Power Up to the Very Limit, which is a solid skill, gives you some buffs, puts you in sparking mode. This is a good skill lineup. Gonna give it a 5. And then moving on to the blasts, we see that Big Bang Kamehameha make a return, as well as the Big Kamehameha. And then we have the Ultimate Impact, which compared to the previous games, I don't care for this one as much, but it's still a solid rush. And finally, we have the Ultra Big Bang Kamehameha. I love that he still says the line, "I'll send you to the next world with this." And then the opponent just gets hit by a massive beam. And positive, we get to see them get swallowed by it in this one. So overall, blasts are gonna get a 5. And then for aura, I mean look, it's Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 4 just looks so good in this game, and not one of them has a bad moveset. They're gonna get a 5. Alright, we are out of the Gogetas, and we are onto the Vegitos. Starting off with his aura, it is just that base regular, normal aura. So we're gonna give it a 3. And then moving on to his grab, I love this grab. The kicks are so good. This is gonna be an easy 5. And then we have his skills. Now, before I say anything, I feel like people think that I am an explosive wave hater. I just don't like when things are overused. But I think for the sake of this version of Vegito, it's fine that he has explosive wave. High tension too. We have a solid utility move, and we have a buff move. It's not the best skill lineup in the world, but it's gonna get a solid 4. And then moving on to his blasts, we have the Big Bang Cannon, which it's just a two-handed Big Bang attack. I don't know why we gotta change the name. Then we have the Rampaging Rush, which is a pretty fun rush. I like the little disrespectful gut kick. And then to wrap it all up, we have a Super Kamehameha, which is just a Super Kamehameha. But he does that cool backflip in the beginning, and the enemy getting swallowed up at the end is very good looking. I'm gonna give this blast lineup a 4 as well. Moving to Vegito's overall aura, he just has that Vegito energy. They definitely rock the earrings. Massive slay in my opinion. But then I've always liked the outfit, the combination of Goku and Vegeta's clothes, and just the utter confidence in oneself, which is deserved. Aura is gonna get a 5. Now we are moving on to Super Vegito. And starting off with his aura, he actually has more of a Super Saiyan 2 aura with the little zappy zaps and things, which is immediately gonna bring it up to a 5 from me. And then we have that same grab again, but it's just as good the second time as it is the first, so it's gonna get a 5 as well. Then moving on to his skills, we have the After Image Strike, which I'm sure if you've been running the Gambit in Ranked, you have seen this move and you know how good it is. And then we have the Finish Sign. Pretty solid skill lineup. I think that one's gonna get a 5. And then moving on to his blasts, we have the Big Bang attack, and we're seeing it in its beam form. And then we have the final Kamehameha, which is interesting to make a blast, but I don't necessarily disagree with it, although it is definitely a lot more Kamehameha than it is Final Flash. And then moving on to that all, we got the Beam Sword Slash, which this makes sense. I'm happy to see them upgrade this move from a blast to an ultimate, and it looks really, really good.
You weren't much at all.
I'm gonna give this blast lineup a 5. And then moving on to Super Vegito's overall aura, I love everything that's going on here. He's got some Goku in him, he's got some Vegeta in him, and he's got some Vegito in him too. Pretty much everything about the previous form of Vegito applies to this one, except he's super. So, aura is gonna get a 5.
This is Vegito Blue.
And last up here, we have Vegito Blue. And starting off with that aura, I just love the look of the blue aura. it is definitely going to get a 5. And we are seeing that grab back again, which is going to get a 5 again. And then moving on to his skills, we have Settling the Score, which gives him a couple buffs, and Full Power Charge, which fully regenerates his ki. I think this skill lineup is kind of middle of the road. I'm gonna give it a 3. And then moving on to his blasts, we have the God Kamehameha, which is a cool looking Kamehameha. I don't really know what's so godly about it, but still a solid move. And then we have the Omega Finishing Blow, which is a really cool rush attack. It has elements from the Beam Sword Slash, some really nice impacts. Big fan of this one. And then to wrap it all up, we have the God Final Kamehameha, which looks great. I mean, everything about this one looks good. The charge animation is excellent. You have that flash where you see both of their faces, and then the enemy gets consumed by the beam. This hits every single box for me. Blasts are gonna get a 5. And I don't know what else I can say. I love Vegito Blue. I think he's got an excellent moveset. Definitely got great energy. Vegito Blue's aura is gonna be a 5. And that is going to be it for this moveset review. Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that like button. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments below, and hit that notification bell if you never want to miss an upload. But with all that out of the way, thank you everybody so much for watching, and of course, as always, see you next time.